In 1978, a forgotten village deep in the Midwest had only 6 residents left, all over the age of 70. Roads cracked, houses abandoned, and the church bell hadn't rung in years. No one expected change. No one, except her. Out of nowhere, a 24-year-old girl named Lily, with nothing but a backpack and an old truck, arrived at the crumbling sign that read, "Welcome to Willow's End." Why would someone so young and full of life move to a place that even the maps forgot? What was she running from, or maybe, what was she running toward? The villagers watched from behind faded curtains, wondering if she was real, or just another ghost passing through. The truth would soon shock them all, and change everything. Hit like, subscribe, and let's go. Lily grew up in a small town just like any other, neat yards, Friday night football games, neighbors who waved from their porches. Life was predictable, safe, almost too quiet. She spent her days working in a dusty little bookstore, dreaming of something bigger, something with meaning. In the evenings, she'd drive her old Chevy through empty backroads, windows down, feeling the wind and the weight of a future she couldn't quite see. She was kind but stubborn, gentle yet fiercely determined. People loved her spirit but often said she didn't quite fit, like a puzzle piece forced into the wrong picture. Deep down, Lily knew they were right. Something was calling her, whispering from far beyond the neat sidewalks and polished windows. She just didn't know yet that answering that call would change her life forever. One evening, while closing up the bookstore, Lily noticed a crumpled flyer pinned to the community board. It was barely hanging, forgotten under layers of old ads and dusty notices. Seeking new life for Willow's End, housing provided, help needed, it read in shaky, handwritten letters. The name struck her like a spark. Willow's End. She had never heard of it. No one had. The paper smelled faintly of smoke and earth, as if it had traveled a long way just to find her. Her hands trembled slightly as she tore it down, heart beating faster without reason. That night, she couldn't sleep. She stared at the ceiling, feeling the weight of a choice she didn't understand yet. A place no one talked about was calling her, and somehow, it felt personal. Little did she know, this was only the beginning. Over the next few days, Lily tried to forget about the strange flyer, but the universe had other plans. Everywhere she turned, whispers of Willow's End seemed to follow. An old atlas at the bookstore mysteriously fell open to a map showing a tiny, faded dot with that very name. A caller phoned the shop late one night, asking for someone who didn't exist, then muttering "Willow's End" before hanging up. Even a dream came to her, a dusty road, an abandoned church, and a woman's voice calling her name through the mist. The feeling in Lily's chest grew heavier, like a hand pressing down on her heart. Was it fate? A trick of her imagination? Part of her wanted to tear up the flyer and forget, but another part, a louder, aching part, knew she was already caught in something much bigger than she understood. On a restless Saturday morning, Lily made a decision that even she couldn't explain. She packed a small bag, grabbed the flyer, and drove out toward the unknown. The highway gave way to cracked asphalt, then to gravel, then to nothing but wild fields and broken fences. After hours of searching, just when she began to doubt herself, she found it, a rusted iron gate leaning open, with a crooked wooden sign barely clinging to the name, Willow's End. As she stepped out of her truck, the air felt colder, heavier. That's when she saw him, an old man sitting silently by the road, staring straight at her, as if he had been waiting all along. In his hands, he held a worn, leather-bound book, and when Lily approached, he simply whispered, "You're late." A shiver ran down her spine. Everything she thought she knew was about to unravel. The old man, whose name was Samuel, led Lily through the skeletal remains of the village. Houses sagged like tired souls, the church doors hung ajar, and nature had begun to reclaim everything. As they walked, Samuel spoke in a cracked, haunted voice. Willow's End had once been a bustling farming community, but decades ago, a terrible drought struck, and with it, something darker crept in. One by one, families left, but those who stayed, vanished. No one came to investigate. No one cared. The government erased the village from official records to avoid scandal. Now, only a handful of souls remained, trapped in a place forgotten by time, and Lily, by stepping through that gate, had unknowingly accepted a role she couldn't escape. Fear coiled in her chest as she realized, saving Willow's End wasn't about reviving old buildings, it was about surviving the curse that still lingered. That night, under a blood-red sunset, Lily stood in the center of the crumbling village square, heart pounding. Samuel had warned her, every newcomer was tested. If she failed, the village would claim her too. As darkness fell, she heard it, a low, dragging sound, like heavy footsteps scraping against broken stone. From the shadows emerged a figure, twisted and hollow-eyed, wearing remnants of a once proud sheriff's uniform. This was no man, it was the spirit of the last protector who had tried, and failed. Lily had two choices, flee and leave Willow's End to rot forever, or face the curse head-on, risking everything she had. Her hands trembled, but her feet stayed planted. The figure raised a skeletal hand, pointing at her, as if demanding a verdict. The air grew colder. Every instinct screamed to run, but something deeper rooted her to the ground. What happened next would decide everything. The ground beneath Lily's feet cracked open, sending her sprawling to the cold, dusty earth. The cursed sheriff moved closer, the air around him thick with despair. Samuel shouted from somewhere in the dark, but his voice was swallowed by the howling wind. Lily's body froze, paralyzed by terror, her dreams of saving Willow's End crumbling like the decaying houses around her. She realized then, this was why no one ever came back. The village didn't just fade away, it devoured hope itself. Tears blurred her vision as the sheriff's hand brushed her shoulder, icy and final. It felt like the end. But then, from her jacket pocket, the old leather-bound book Samuel had given her slipped out and hit the ground, bursting open to a page marked with a red thread. The cursed figure hesitated, recoiling slightly. Lily blinked through the fear, maybe, just maybe, the village hadn't taken everything from her yet. Clutching the book with trembling hands, Lily realized it wasn't just a relic, it was a guide. The page revealed a simple ritual, a vow to protect Willow's End, sealed not with force, but with heart. Summoning every ounce of courage left inside her, Lily stood and read the ancient words aloud. The cursed sheriff paused, his hollow eyes flickering with something almost human, sorrow, perhaps, or release. Around them, the village seemed to breathe, the wind softening, the heavy air lifting. Samuel emerged from the darkness, tears shining in his weathered face, whispering, "She chose to stay." The sheriff's figure dissolved like mist at sunrise, leaving only silence and a lingering scent of old wood smoke. Lily had not defeated the curse with violence, she had broken it with compassion, with commitment. For the first time in decades, the bell at the old church gave a low, trembling ring. Willow's End had a heartbeat again. Months later, Willow's End was no longer just a ghost town. Gardens sprouted where weeds once ruled, laughter echoed between houses patched with new paint, and fresh faces, drawn by some unseen pull, began to arrive. At the heart of it all was Lily, older now in spirit, but stronger, rooted like one of the ancient trees that lined the dusty road. She had not only saved the village, she had found the home she had been searching for all her life. Yet, every so often, on misty mornings, she could swear she saw a shadow standing by the church, watching, guarding. Some stories never truly end, they only change hands. What would you have done if a forgotten place called your name? Would you have stayed, or turned away? Hit like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. I can't wait to hear your story too.